On this episode, the ARCA series drops the hammer big time across the league with various penalties, fines, and an indefinite suspension.
Kevin Reed Jr., who's Drew Dollar's crew chief, supposedly used a homophobic slur on the radio and got indefinitely suspended.
Plus, Jerry Jordan updates us with Jay Fabian, NASCAR's Cup Series managing director, who is currently facing 2 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor count of animal cruelty.
That's like one of the most evil things you can do. And like you mentioned, Newman and so many, Alec Jones, he's got stuff with animals. I mean, he's not going to have a good time if he is back in that position.
Also, could we be seeing a shakeup with the NASCAR Cup Series schedule? Adam Stern put out a tweet with the possibility of Gateway getting a race as early as 2022 and talks of a cup race at LA Coliseum.
LA Coliseum is talking about doing a one-off race, like either a street race or a short track race, like in the facility itself.
And let's not forget a quick rundown of the iRacing leagues, Michigan and Gateway recaps, and then our Daytona picks. Welcome to the Kickin' Show.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Kickin' Show, the official podcast of Kickin' the Tires. And tonight we've got Zach Catanzarelli in North Carolina getting ready to head south to Daytona. Seth Eggert also in North Carolina, but he's in Mooresville. And then Justin, as always, stuck out in liberal land in California. Should I call it lockdown land, recall land? What are y'all doing out there this week?
You got to mention that every episode, don't you?
What, that you still live in California and won't come to Texas? Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, I guess. Yeah.
There's jobs in Texas that pay better than what you're making in California. The cost of living is less. And
I'll tell you what, I would love to trade our 30-something% income tax rate for a 0% income tax rate.
Zero. Texas has zero. Oh, by the way, I'm actually not in Texas. I'm in our condo in Daytona. Nider's in the other room. So he's going to let me do the podcast, and he may step in here and say hi in a little bit. But Chris Knight, catchfitch.com, and I are sharing a condo this weekend. Everybody's speechless on that.
That's incredible. You're not sharing beds, are you?
No, definitely not. I have my own bed, and he has his own bed.
Good.
So it's all good. So he's mumbling something in the background, so God help us, I don't know what he's saying, because I've got earbuds in both ears, so I have no idea.
Thank the Lord is what he said. Thank the Lord.
Thank the Lord.
But just tell him that we can see the reflection of the glass, so if he does any faces, we can see him.
Careful, NASCAR and ARCA are on top of what you're saying right now. They might hand out more penalties.
I'm going to turn that so that you can. Yeah, because that like goes right into the bedroom over there. So. But lots of fun, getting ready for action here in Daytona. We've got racing tomorrow night here. What is it? The 250.
The Wawa 250.
Wawa 250. And across the street from the track, coincidentally, they're building a Wawa's. So, it's like right across the street from the track, which I think is a good thing because Wawas are great.
What is a Wawa?
A Wawa's is a pre-Buc-ee's. They were cool. They were cool before Buc-ee's was cool.
I was going to say it's also comparable to Sheetz in the Carolinas.
Yeah. It's a big, giant convenience store.
Yeah.
With good food. They have great. Okay, so this goes back before. I don't know if it's before you were born, but were y'all born in 94?
Yes.
No, technically not. I was born in 90.
I was born
so
in
y'all were
91.
y'all were still children. So when my first taste of Wawa's came when I went to King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, to play in a pool tournament up there, and I didn't know what Wawa's was, but I was hungry and it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's just Wawa. It's not Wawa's.
Well, it's Wawa's to me, so it's Wawa. But
wah wah
wah wah. They have great. Or at least back in 94, when y'all were children, they had great meatball subs.
Yep.
So, and I fell in love with Wawa. Maybe they can sponsor. Maybe they can sponsor this disastrous kicking show that we're having tonight.
I was going to say, I remember going to a Wawa down the street from Wall Stadium in New Jersey, Wall Stadium Speedway. So,
well, let's scoot on over to the racing topics of the week. It's been a big news week for the racing world. Zach, I know this story is near and dear to you, near and dear to me too, because I knew Robin Miller. But your thoughts on the passing of Robin Miller this week?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it wasn't too much of a shock. I mean, we got to know more about what he's been going through. I mean, it was a 4-year-long battle with cancer, and he was just able to write just a few weeks ago. I think he wrote a column kind of detailing it. So we had a bit of an idea, but I mean, still something like that kind of hits you kind of hard. And I don't believe I ever met Robin, but I know like years and years ago, like just as a fan, I loved his bold takes on driver rivalries and, I mean, any stupid decisions that race officials made. I mean, he was just, it wasn't a filter to be found. I mean, he would just say everything and anything, and he got everyone's attention. And whether it was that kind of stuff or just spreading the love of not only IndyCar and racing, but really the Indianapolis 500, which, I mean, I enjoyed he and Marshall Pruitt's month of May rundowns every year. And when I first got to cover the 500 in 2015, he was just everywhere, just all throughout the media center, and saw him doing interviews with people, and he tried to take notes on some of the older guys who've been doing it for a while. And I remember covering Justin Wilson's death at Pocono in 2015, and we were outside the medical center, and it was just a really just bad situation. And I just remember seeing him, and he was just, I can tell he was winded, you know, and very similar to Robert Wicken's accident there in 2018. He thankfully survived, but it was just a horrible accident. And he was out there having to interview the drivers like James Hinchcliffe and other guys who were in the wreck. And I can tell he was just visibly just, you know, shaken about that. And whether just the positives or the negatives, I just felt like he was really a national treasure when it came to racing. He was an historian. He knew about every single racing circuit and every driver. I love 1960s Formula One. I love looking into that. And so anytime he would go off about Jim Clark, Graham Hill, and then, you know, AJ Foyt on the American side, Mario Andretti, Dan Gurney. I mean, he knew all these guys basically, whether as a fan back in the 60s or he got to work alongside of them. And he was a voice for the older generation, but he also brought those names and those tales to the younger generation. So when we do get those racing enthusiasts, they know those names because of guys like Robin. And he's not the only one, but he was one of the biggest names, I would say, because of just his prowess in the garage, how many people he knew. He was on NBC Sports, so he was on TV every week. He was a tremendous writer. He had his hands in every single jar, I felt. And he did a lot for racing fans. He did a lot for racing media. And yeah, it sucks. I'm going to miss him a lot, especially watching him on TV and just hearing him talk, you know, every week.
You know, the last time I saw Robin, we were outside the museum there at Indianapolis, and just sitting out there chatting for a few minutes. And he then was obviously he had gotten cancer, kind of recovered from cancer, you know, it was kind of a back and forth. And, you know, he didn't let it slow him down. I mean, even then he was, you know, he is an icon in the motorsports world, not just the IndyCar world, and he'll be greatly missed. So our thoughts, prayers to anyone who knew him, everyone, and his family and all that. You know, he was somebody that you look up to as a writer.
Yeah, and I went through my my photo album from Indy just 2 weeks ago for the Volvo, and I caught a picture of him, which I didn't even know, but he was talking with Jeff Gordon and Kyle Larson pre-race. I was looking through the photos and I saw him sitting in a golf cart talking with them. So, and that was just 2 weeks ago. Crazy.
I know that Kelly Crandall, he and Kelly Crandall had a relationship. You know, they were very very good friends, and the short time that she got to know him, they became close. And she posted some stuff on her Instagram and some photos that I took of the two of them at an event, at that same event with at the museum there at the Indy 500 Club, and it was so cool, just to know that, as you said, he reached out to the younger generation, and I know that he helped. They both worked for Racer. And he would write for Racer, Kelly wrote for Racer, and he'd send notes and things to Kelly and tips and stuff like that. So I know that it's real cool to know that one of my close friends was such a good friend with him, and that they were able to share that professional relationship together, and both of them their love of their love of motorsports, and it's sad to see him pass away. But in other news, I guess moving forward, what's happening in the world of NASCAR for you guys? I know I had a big story this week, but there's other stuff out there that maybe we could, Justin, you can take us down the list here.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, the week NASCAR and ARCA are pulling out some band hammers or something, because my gosh, like you said, Jerry, you have a big story with one of NASCAR's industrial members, one of the directors over there. So we'll get to that in a second. But Seth, take us with what's going on in ARCA, because my gosh, you could write a whole novel with what just happened.
Well, let's start with the very beginning of what set all of this chain off. Lap 1 and 2 of the ARCA race, Thad Moffitt and Drew Dollar decided to go at each other in Michigan, which eventually led to Thad dumping Drew Dollar. Tim Richmond got caught up in the wreck. Tim Richmond, not the same one from the 1980s, but got pretty hurt in the wreck. Kevin Reed Jr., who's Drew Dollar's crew chief, supposedly used a homophobic slur on the radio and got indefinitely suspended. A $1,500 fine. Kevin Reed Sr. Also got a $500 fine and has been placed on probation for the remainder of the season.
Yes, there's some sensitivity training coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And driver Drew Dollar has been fined $1,000 for violation of Section 12-8, which
detrimental to stock car racing.
Yeah, which apparently involved him pranking Thad Moffitt by placing used tires and shredded tires in the DGR hauler. Granted, Jerry, I know there's a little bit more information that you know that I hadn't heard because we were talking before the show about it. But also Bob Dillner, during the broadcast of the Springfield Dirt Mile, had mentioned that the DGR and Venturini crews had gotten into an altercation at the airport after the Michigan race.
Oh, so, hey, Norm Benning came over and said, "Hey, meet me over at the airport, little boy."
Mike Hyman at the end.
Oh, Harvey.
Yeah. So
I went to that Applebee's that night. He wasn't there.
So needless to say, they're not happy with each other. Tim Richmond, if I remember correctly, has a broken ankle, a broken tibia, and lost a small portion of the tip of his pinky in the wreck. Which, yes.
Damn, I didn't know that. Wow.
That name sounds familiar.
He co-owns...
Not that Tim Richmond, right?
Yeah, not that Tim Richmond. He co-owns the team with Alex Clubb in ARCA, the number 27, and there are photos that I believe Alex Clubb put on Twitter of the car, and it is pretty horrendous, the amount of damage to that car. If you remember
driving it though, right? Wasn't that like the last race for that car?
Yeah, it was going to be the last race for that car too.
Yeah.
I don't normally promote other media outlets, but the Venturini stuff, you might want to check out motorsport.com tomorrow. Jim Utter is supposed to have a story coming out tomorrow with some more information on probably that and everything else that has happened this week. To sum it all up in the ARCA. It's been a big week, as you said, for the ARCA series.
And just one other thing. On the way home from the Springfield Dirt Mile, the Andy Hillenberg number 11 hauler caught fire.
That Moffitt should have been suspended.
That Moffitt should have been suspended.
I agree with that. Thad Moffitt should have been suspended.
So,
But
That's what I was about to ask. Why wasn't anything done to him or talked to him about?
No
he's
penalty,
literally
though.
gotten no fines, no suspension, nothing.
Cool. You just opened the door to say to the rest of the field.
And,
Jeez, ARCA's having like drama 101 like all year.
And one other small note, speaking of Andy Hillenberg, returning to ARCA with Andy Hillenberg at the DuQuoin dirt track, Ken Schrader.
That's cool.
Ooh.
There's some positivity.
Hey, I know all the SRX fans were trying to get Ken Schrader to run one of those cars, so I know there's a ton of Ken Schrader fans going to be happy about that.
So ARCA said, "Hey, we're going to screw things up this week and make big news with our penalties and fines." And then NASCAR says, "Hold my beer." Jay Fabian comes out. Jay Fabian, managing director of the NASCAR Cup Series. There is no fun. There's no funny to this, no matter how I can't make this funny. Jay Fabian has been there since 2019 as the NASCAR Managing Cup Series director, and he is now facing 2 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor count for animal cruelty. I thought at first, okay, he was fighting dogs. You know, maybe it was that. Maybe who knows? When I heard the charges, I didn't know where to go with it. But apparently, after more investigation, 1 dog starved to death. 1 dog almost starved to death, and 1 dog was the healthiest, according to the report that you can read in my article, was the healthiest of the 3 dogs that were seized by Charlotte Mecklenburg Animal Control and the police department. Canine officer Anna Moss was one of the officers that responded to the scene, and this wasn't a rookie officer. This is an officer who had a lot of experience. It wasn't someone that made a knee-jerk reaction. She obviously, what she saw there was horrific. And Jay Fabian is not the managing director of the NASCAR Cup Series right now because, in NASCAR's words, he's stepping away to take care of this issue.
Take care of this issue.
Y'all might want to step off the podcast right now because I have something to say. There's no way in hell that whoever wrote that statement for NASCAR that they should have used the words "he's stepping away." We suspended Kurt Busch and there was no criminal charges against him. Okay, there was an allegation of domestic abuse. Okay, we suspended Haley Deegan for saying stuff. We suspended drivers for making comments. We've, poor Chase Elliott's spotter, Eddie DeHaan, was suspended. The story that I broke. Okay. Jay Fabian, because he's the NASCAR managing director of the Cup Series, gets to step away. How come he wasn't suspended? That is a fail on NASCAR's part. I know I got a lot of friends over there, and this is not going to be popular. But that is a failure on their part to handle that properly in the wording of how they put that out there to the public. I'm sorry. Allegedly he let 2 dogs, 1 dog starved to death, another dog almost starved to death, and I don't know how you come back from that. How do you step back into the series in a sport that has people like Ryan Newman, who has an animal shelter, and Tony Stewart and all these other people that do so much for animals, and I'm pissed about this. So there's my rant for tonight, and I'm sure I'll probably put it more into words when I write my editorial tomorrow.
Yeah, if he does get back into the position, he's not going to be able to show his face at the track unless he's hidden. As you said, like there's so many drivers, so many. Who doesn't? I mean, that's like one of the most evil things you can do. And like you mentioned, Newman and so many. Eric Jones. He's got stuff with animals. I mean, he's not going to have a good time if he is back in that position.
I know my brother won't like him when he hears about this. My brother is a huge advocate for animals. I mean, when he came out of the military, he pretty much said, hey, I love animals, and he wants to go be a vet. So my gosh. But yeah, like you said, the wording on that, just how can you, so I do the social media for the board of the NMPA, and even I go through and double check what Reed sends me before it goes out on social media for any kind of announcements. I think I've sent one thing back saying, hey, just making sure this is how you want to word this part. And he said, yeah, but like I even double check because I want to make sure that we're giving ourselves not necessarily the best face, but the right face. Like, are we saying the right thing at the right time in front of the right people? And this is definitely the wrong thing to say in front of the wrong people at the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't understand how NASCAR came up with the statement. Now, granted, when it was sent to me, I took it and wrote exactly what they said. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, all these people that we suspended in the past indefinitely while they face whatever allegation, charge, criminal offense, DWI, domestic, whatever, whether it be bullshit or not, okay, we suspended them indefinitely. And with Jay Fabian, we're letting him step away. I'm sorry, that's wrong on multiple levels, in my opinion.
Was that emailed to you, or did NASCAR actually post that somewhere?
It was emailed to me.
Okay.
You had to ask for the statement. They didn't put it out there publicly. If you wanted a statement for your article, you had to ask for it. So
interesting. Well,
but I'm not the only one to have that take. I know that others have had a similar take on it too.
There's a reason why I've been muted for the past 5 minutes. You do not want to hear my thoughts on this.
Yeah,
go set.
No,
you get to air. Let's air these things out.
Yes, I think I've probably been it enough for everybody. So I can't see the notes. So, but I know that Seth's got some iRacing stuff coming up, and there's a few other stories happening before we talk about my guy deciding to give up the win this past weekend, and then my lovely performance in the Truck Series Fantasy Points too. So
hey, I'm not doing that much more lovely than you. So,
I believe what's next. There's one Adam Stern tweet that you were talking about earlier, Justin. And actually another one that just dropped. Apparently 2311 Racing has officially bought 15 acres of land in Huntersville, North Carolina, where their proposed new headquarters will be.
Yeah, I want to say that purchase was already in the works, and then
it finally went through for $3.7 million.
Yeah,
$3.7 million. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Where's Denny getting all this money? Where's Denny getting all this money from?
But you mean Michael Jordan?
Never mind.
Where's Michael Jordan getting all this money from? Like what?
Nike.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So instead of 23XI Racing, it's now Nike Racing. Yeah, no, that's been in the works for a while. I think they had just some paperwork that was waiting on a few things to go through. But yeah, I kind of figured that was around the corner. But the other thing that I saw Adam drop was something I've known about for a while. It was kind of a combination of two things, that Gateway's possibly having talks of getting a cup race in 22, which I don't think that's going to happen. You were talking about it earlier, Jerry, where you were saying they have so much that they need to get done at the track if they were to host a cup race, and there's just no way they're going to get that done in time. So I could see 23, 24 maybe, but definitely not next year. But the other part of it was that LA Coliseum is talking about doing a one-off race, like either a street race or a short track race, like in the facility itself. Nobody has a clue how that's going to work, because right now they're proposing doing like a whole Bristol thing where they're bringing in a whole bunch of dirt and doing a dirt race there, doing it on the clay, doing it on some asphalt, and then lifting the asphalt up. But they are planning to do something in the Coliseum.
Well, and it wouldn't be the first time, because X Games did their rally and rallycross there for years. So it's not unprecedented for motorsports to be there. Granted,
yeah.
X Games was maybe 16 cars total, while
in
talking
like 10 lap stints also.
Yeah.
Hey, can we if we do it like they did the X Games track? Can we do it with that jump over like
yes,
they had in?
please.
That was sweet.
Just call Robbie Gordon. He knows how to get the jumps in on the track.
I would have to assume if they do it inside the track that pit road is going to be outside the track because it's just barely over a quarter of a mile.
So you know the old fantasy track, Dodge Raceway,
yes.
where they had the pit road under the stands. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but we'll see. Anyway, that's
how are you gonna get a race there at the Coliseum when you guys can't even figure out Auto Club Speedway?
Thank you. That's what I was about to talk about next. So Auto Club is possibly not having a cup race next year again because Orange County has just required masks across the board and required vaccines across the board for most of the county workers and public facilities, which Auto Club technically falls under. So they're trying to fight against that. The city's trying to fight for that, which means Auto Club might not have a race next year also.
Or
Amy,
could we just run Auto Club in the fall?
Thank you. Like, when does it ever rain out here? Like,
I mean, I'm like that. That's the only way I could see it happening next year as of right now.
We used to
Granted, I know things can change, but as of right now.
Yeah, we used to have 2 dates and one was in the fall. And I don't see a problem with us just moving it to the fall and just going, we're racing here whether you like it or not. But I don't know what it is about Southern California, but they just do not like racing at all. The only reason I feel like Long Beach Grand Prix is able to get by and not have any issues is because of a lot of the corporate sponsors have a headquarters or a significant branch out here in Los Angeles area. So the city kind of has no choice but to do it because it's a massive revenue boost for them because of all the sponsorship money. So, but I mean, and then Supercross is big out here because a lot of the Supercross and motocross riders come from Southern California if they're not coming from the Midwest. So that's the other reason. That's the other kind of racing that's really successful out here. But other than that, I don't know what it is about Southern California, but I mean, you've got Saugus Speedway that didn't last for long, even though that was a fantastic track. And the stands were still standing, by the way. All you old school fans will know what I'm talking about with that. You have Ontario, Riverside. I don't know what it is, but it sucks. I hate it here more and more. And Irwindale's been threatened for years about being taken over.
But if I remember correctly, the reason why Irwindale keeps living on is because they literally can't do anything else with the land there.
Yep, they're literally trying to find an excuse to take over the land. And it's mentioned in every press release because that's what I love about Irwindale. They will just call them out. They'll just say, hey, they want to take over our land. We ask them what it's for. They say we don't know. And then it doesn't go through because everyone's like, oh, well, you just want to take it over because you don't know what you want to do with it. Well, then why are you taking it over?
I thought that track was going away like years ago.
Everyone thought that. I thought that too. And that would have sucked because that was pretty much the last, that's pretty much the last childhood track I have out here. Aside from Willow Springs, which obviously will never go away because it's out in the middle of nowhere up in Rosemont. But yeah, I hope this doesn't happen.
Yeah, I thought Irwindale was gone, but then when I watched Fast and Furious 9, it was in the opening scene. I'm like, oh, it's still here.
Yeah,
I know. I had to go and look that up to see which track that was because at first I thought that's Auto Club, but no, it's not.
That was Ford versus Ferrari when they pretended like it was Daytona.
I have to say it's kind of similar to what's gone on with the Wall Stadium Speedway in New Jersey, one of my last home tracks, because it almost died in 2005, then again in 2006, 2007. I think it closed for a year in like 2011 and opened back up. And I think now it's back to being they don't know what they're doing.
Well, the other big part that's in their favor is they have a guy from Hollywood that got out of the film industry that went there as one of their event managers. And that's how they start to get X Games being held there.
Yeah.
They've got a lot more movie shoots going on there. So they're definitely doing a lot more with the track than just Saturday night races and Wednesday night race the cops on the drag strip kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're definitely doing a really good job over there, and I'm hoping they can keep doing it. I try to go there on my off nights when I don't have anything, but this past year or two, they've always had something scheduled when I have other stuff locally scheduled. But
hey, tell them you were kicking the tires. I'll let you up in the press box.
Oh yeah, no, I've gone there a couple times up in the press box, so they know me up there. But I don't have mine. I really don't mind pitching $15 to do my part to help keep it open. So
well, I just every time I go out to California, there's an event there. We get invited to go over, and sometimes I can make it, sometimes I can't. But I always send them an email and let them know, hey, if I can make it, I will. But I really, last time I was out in California, I thought that was it. I mean, no more over and down. But they, as we've talked about, they keep, coming back.
They keep figuring it out, which is great. And I hope they can keep figuring it out. I don't think any track should ever have to go through something like that. But I don't know, man. Anyway, so enough about real asphalt. Let's talk about some virtual asphalt. Seth, we're recording this on Thursday because you had a pretty exciting race yesterday.
Yeah,
he decided
last night until this
wreck.
morning.
No, he decided to wreck. I'm gonna look at our driver lineup. Our driver, our driver keeps tearing up virtual cars.
Hey, I started fourth in the NWP 400, NASCAR Weekly Podcast 400. I had stumbled across it on Twitter, saw that Ryan Vargas was running it, and I talked to the promoter saying, hey, will you mind if I cover the race? And he's like, no, how about you run it? And he gave me a guarantee.
Their name. It's okay.
I
like it. Okay.
It was Jonathan Ramos, Darian Gilliam, Daniel Baldwin. I forget all of them, but they're some of the big names that were involved in it. And I was like, sure, I'll run if you want me to. So I go through, qualify fourth, and then they're like, by the way, there's a $1,000 purse. So I'm like, okay. I dropped back to avoid the wrecks, got back up to the top 7 when the leaders decided to wreck everybody.
And that included you.
Oh, wait, was it Tony Stewart blocking Michael Waltrip again?
Well, if I go by the paint schemes, it was Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick. But
you mean like at Talladega when Kevin wrecked the field trying to make sure that he made the playoffs,
and it was at Talladega, as a matter of fact.
There you go. See, that's exactly. We have the Kevin Harvick rule now.
Yeah. So I barrel rolled in turns 1 and 2 on the final lap because of that. And Mason Moriarty, who I'll be honest, I've never heard of him before, a 16-year-old wins the race by being the only one to make it through.
Did Jerry give you his Dukes of Hazzard horn from last episode for your barrel rolls?
Maybe. But there was other iRacing news. The E-Racer Roval Racing Series had their season finale at Homestead. And they crowned not 1, not 2, but 3 champions because it's a multi-class NASCAR road course series. Matt Danson of Logitech G Altus Esports won the A-Class championship. He had locked it up the week before. I'll get to the Xfinity cars in a minute because the trucks, David Grantham, clinched it because his competition, Brandon Panetto, didn't show up to race. Panetto had just had surgery and wasn't able to run. Although I will say Panetto made his iRacing return in the NWP 400. He and I were working very well together until that wreck. So
don't they allow him to do like a sub? Like, can't you tag in, like start the race and then let somebody else drive for you?
Some series do, but unfortunately, at least in this case, my understanding was he thought the surgery was after the finale, and it was the day before the finale, so he couldn't get somebody in time.
Okay.
That's my understanding of what happened. So the only championship left to decide was the B class, the Xfinity cars, which came down to Matt Taylor, who did not own the car before the season started, and Brian Zabelski, and the two of them were going at it all night long. Matt Taylor ended up winning the championship. Zabelski finished second in the championship by, I think, 19 points, which isn't a whole lot.
I have a question here. How do you own a virtual car?
Well, on iRacing, you can buy different content, basically downloadable content. You don't automatically own everything. So in order to run the Xfinity car, you have to buy the content.
Oh, so okay, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, because I have a annual subscription to iRacing, but then I have to buy the tracks and the car. Yes. That's how they make their money.
Yes, and Matt Taylor, by trade, is an open wheel driver on iRacing. He usually runs, as he has said in different interviews on eRacer, he's typically run the Lotus 79, the Lotus 49, the old F1 cars. So this was entirely new to him, and right out the gate, he wins the championship. David Grantham, who won the Ballista Packs C-Class Truck Championship in the league, he joined iRacing in January. So two people brand new to their cars and their equipment win the championships. Matt Danson, he's a little more established. I will say for him, though, it was probably a little tougher because he's based in Australia and they run the races at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, that would kind of suck. Hey, on one note real quick, how's For the Fans doing? And I need you to check the direct messages on Kickin' on Twitter.
Yes, I did see Logan Helton. Yes, Logan Helton, he's been in races I've covered before, the Firecracker 400, some of the Road to Pro stuff. He is a good racer.
Shout out to Logan. We may be doing something with him at some point. And but how's Malillo's league doing?
He's their league is doing well. I believe they ran Daytona this past week, old Daytona on iRacing, because on iRacing they have the 2008 version, and we had helped Ryan Vargas get in the race using the provisional. Aside from that, I will say apologies to Malillo, but I have to mention this. He was in the E-Racer Roval Racing Series, and he crashed out at Homestead because he forgot he was running the Xfinity car after we had just run the Porsche in Monday Night Racing at the same track. So he was trying to drive it like the Porsche when it was an Xfinity car. And
you mean that the Xfinity cars and NASCAR don't drive like luxury race cars from Europe?
Exactly.
They're not like the F1 cars where they have like tons of computer buttons on the steering wheel.
I'm pretty sure, and again, I'm sorry, Justin, for mentioning this, but I'm pretty sure he went head on into the wall twice.
Wait,
that's no bueno.
Sorry to me. What?
No, Malillo.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
His name's Justin. It's okay, Justin. His name's Justin too.
And also, Monday Night Racing had their penultimate race this past week. Through fuel mileage, I led 3 laps during pit cycles.
Yeah, but where did you end the race at?
16th.
Did you wreck? Were you on 4 wheels?
I was on 4 wheels. I didn't wreck, although I did have a pretty big slide trying to avoid Ryan Vargas because after I pitted, I caught the leader so quickly and they were on such older tires, I almost misjudged the closing rate. I saved it, lost 4 seconds to him, ran them back down, caution waved. Dang. So I got the free pass and lined up 20 23rd, 24th, and in overtime I went and was able to get back up to 16th.
Okay, I'll give you a reprieve. Anything happening? Is that pretty much it for the iRacing stuff this week?
That's pretty much it. Next week, Monday Night Racing has their season finale. Raja Karuth, Robbie Lyons, Adam Cabot, and I forget the other driver, but there's 4 going for the championship in that league. Podium Esports has their Retro 500 coming up pretty soon. And next week is the first race of the Coke Series playoffs at Darlington. And remember, their first round is Darlington, Bristol, Talladega. Tomorrow, I actually have an interview with Michael Connie, who is the junior motorsports driver in the playoffs.
Excellent. Zach, what about your world? How's before you come down here to Daytona to get to cover the races this weekend? What's happening in the movie world?
Not much right now. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet. I mean, going for a couple big Marvel movies that are just starting in Georgia right now, but I haven't heard back yet. Those would be freaking, because I've done like DC movies before, so I'd love to do a Marvel movie. But yeah, we gotta wait and see. Gotta be patient.
A friend of mine from high school, she's one of the American Ninja Warriors, and she got to be Black Widow's stunt double for both her movie and then Infinity War. We were both like, what? Because she was like, I can't say anything. So I had to text her. I'd be like, are you doing, because I had a slight feeling, I'm like, are you doing the Marvel movies? She's like, maybe, winky face. And I went, yes.
That's awesome.
So how did Respect come out? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw that opening night. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I was just reading an article about the Oscar contenders for Best Actress, and they have Jennifer Hudson as the top leading that they think is gonna win it. So that would be really cool. She was awesome on set. I got to listen to her sing for probably 9 hours a day for a couple of days. So yeah, hopefully she wins. She would definitely earn it because she killed it.
Well, I told somebody the other day that you were an actor and you were doing all these movies and stuff. That there's no way. And then I pulled up your IMDb and like, holy crap, he's like legit. So
background acting. I don't have any lines or anything, but I'm
not yet. Hey, you got to start somewhere.
That's
You got to ad-lib it. You got to throw one in there. Yeah. Sometimes the director will be like, I like that.
You do need to update that IMDb profile though.
I do. Yeah, you texted me and I gotta get on there.
Yeah, and if you can put a hot link back to the kickingthetires.net, that would be even better.
Well, lights are pretty bright for Zach's acting future, but lights were not bright at Gateway, that's for sure.
Ooh,
yeah.
You like that segue?
Yeah. Whoosh. Fire outside the track blew the transformer, and the power surge blew the track's generator.
So I'm that race was Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm working off-site Friday. I'm on my way back home, and Rachel texts me. She goes, there's plenty of time left. They're just starting the second stage, 11 laps in, and you got plenty of time to watch the race. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, there's plenty of time. No problem at all. So I get home, and it's like 15 to go. And I'm like, wait, where'd all this go? And then that's when I find out the whole fire happened, and then lights went out, and then all of NASCAR's scoring system, not Fox's, NASCAR's own scoring system goes completely down, and the only thing that's keeping track is a small little box running on battery power as a backup, and everyone's scoring is all stuck on whatever 11 laps into stage 2.
And it came back for me, I think 15 laps into stage 3. I've been refreshing the page constantly. And apparently, whatever scoring NASCAR had, because the team scoring was coming up, was different. Because I posted the results of stage 2, and I get this message from somebody at Doorsport saying, hey, we're second at the end of that stage. And I sent them a picture of what NASCAR had, and they're like, we don't know what NASCAR International has, but that's not what we have.
Yeah,
remember that thing y'all were talking about a cup race at Gateway. It's called infrastructure.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you about the first time I went to Gateway. Okay, I went to Gateway as a favor to the race sponsor. There's a group from actually my area in Texas, and when I got there, it was me and Chris Knight, and that was pretty much the national media that was there. We had no internet. We had no copier. We had no nothing. So there wasn't even a coffee maker there. Okay. They had to take Ethernet cable and run it from like a pole into the media center for us to even have internet there. Now they've come a long way.
Jerry, that's every local dirt track though. Come on.
Okay. They were holding a truck series race there and other stuff. So, and everything crashed. Everything crashed on top of that. The power went out.
The power did go out.
What else? Yeah.
The power did go out at Indianapolis Motor Speedway 2 weeks ago. Just for a moment, but just to put it out there.
And the power did actually go out and end a truck race early at Phoenix a few years ago as well.
And then
that was
when
lightning and rain in the middle of the desert. But Zach, to your point, the power went out for 3 seconds, and Roger Penske said, "Let there be light," and all of a sudden,
there was light. Roger going poof.
I heard like a really loud snap. Maybe that was.
It. Hey, that was Thanos. There's your key for Marvel movies, bud. And then dates, considering you're at Daytona and we're going to the night race this weekend, hopefully they won't have lights go out on the backstretch.
Well, we got hurricanes.
That's happened before.
So, we've got hurricanes coming.
But what I was going to say is, it might actually have been a blessing that the Fox booth was remote, because if they had been there when the power went out, I don't think we would have figured out the power went out.
Well, their broadcast did go down.
It just froze.
Yeah, it just froze. I thought it was us because of the storms that were here, though.
No, their broadcast went down, and then their whole remote system took over. But whenever that happens, that takes like 30 seconds for it to take over, because it's got to resync and then go on that 10, 15-second delay or whatever they do with that, and then get it all booted up. So it can take a couple minutes. But yeah, geez, that would have been a nightmare for people behind the scenes. Oh gosh, that's nuts.
Well, we got big action coming up this weekend. NASCAR Xfinity, NASCAR Cup Series. Seth, real quick, run down the points so that we can get done with this show tonight. And,
which one do you like first?
I don't care.
Okay, so
Yes, he does. He secretly cares, but he's just trying to say he doesn't care.
Since we were just talking about trucks, let's go with the truck points. In first with 106 points, Rachel.
Hey!
In second with 97, Christian. Now here's the jump. In third with 58, Summer. I'm in fourth with 56. Matt is third with 53. All right, sorry, seventh with 53. I said the wrong number.
I is in fifth with 53.
Yeah, I got myself all mixed up.
Written right in front of
you. Anyway, in sixth is Zach with 48. Sarah's seventh with 43. Justin, you're eighth with 34, and in ninth is Jerry with 25, and we don't have anyone in 10th, so I'm pretty sure that makes Jerry last.
Where's Summer at?
Third.
Summer is third?
Yeah,
not 58.
Yeah, because 10th place at Walking Sled.
I'm not thinking that's right.
You gotta fix his rules.
Okay,
yeah.
Playoffs
He's getting
here. Playoffs
in the championship by picking nobody.
Yeah.
Look. I love Summer. Okay, I love her to death. She is amazing. Okay, and I wish she'd be on more podcasts. But she's third and she hasn't picked yet. I see an inherent problem with that.
Come on.
Well, you're the one who
pick, you shouldn't get 10th.
To be fair, Jerry, you're the one who wanted to make it fair and give 10th place to somebody who doesn't pick.
Yay.
I don't know if I said 10th. I think
you did say 10th.
Yeah,
you did say 10th.
So we all pretty much agreed on 10th. But I think that was also before playoffs. So maybe now that we're in the playoffs, when it actually starts counting,
well, here's the thing: we haven't counted any others for trucks yet. So how's it fair not to do it at least for the playoffs and trucks?
Jerry's already looking forward to next year.
Yes, yeah, in trucks I am, but not in cup.
You should get 0 picks for not picking. Why are we even giving out points for people who aren't
mainly because this is the first year we're doing it to try to make it somewhat fair to everyone.
We'll do mid pack with Zach points next year. We'll do 20th place points for those that don't.
Yeah.
That would be fair.
Yeah, anyway,
or should we do 30th, Zach? Should we do 30th?
Should be 41st.
41st. Yeah, but some people can't be on the show every week. I mean, come on.
How about? Wait. How about this? We split the difference 25th.
But they can still pick. Just because they're not on the show doesn't mean they're not in the Slack.
Yeah.
Whatever. We can do 25th. That's okay. That's better than 10th.
That's better. Definitely better than 10th.
Yeah, and that's what we'll do for next year. But for Cup right now, Jerry is leading with 860. I am second with 840. Sarah is third with 826.
Jeez, she jumped fast with back-to-back wins.
Back-to-back wins. Yeah.
Jeez.
Rachel is fourth with 824. Justin, you have 793 in fifth. Zach has 773. Summer has 765.
I want to wait. Stop. I want to point something out. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a private Slack conversation with Sarah. Okay, because technically she didn't get her picks in before the show, so there was a question about order and who she wanted. She got who she wanted. Seemed like she was begrudgingly getting who she wanted, and then she wins the damn race. So, Sarah, you cannot complain anymore.
I was waiting for that.
And wait. Here's the thing: Sarah picked the winner. However, 4 people scored more points than her because the winner did not score any stage points.
Yeah, well, my guy just decided to pull over and let her guy win.
Well, my guy decided to kick the tires, and then Zach's guy decided to drive across the nose of Brad Keselowski's car after the stage.
Why was Keselowski side drafting him when the stage was over? There was nothing to gain.
Anyway, Matt is 8th with 750, and still in last is Christian with 725.
Have to squeeze in that still in last.
Yeah.
And then we have combined points. We have combined points too. But we have combined points too, right, Seth?
They don't count.
Yes. We do have combined points, and Rachel's leading that too. Anyway, so
your wife's ahead. Tell her if she's winning something.
Oh, she already knows. She reminds me every morning.
Anyway, Cup and Xfinity are...
Yeah, because she missed out with you.
Wow. Okay. Daytona picks. I hope my driver...
Zach's
Jerry's pick, no matter what.
Zach picks first.
All right, for Xfinity, I'm probably going to go with AJ Allmendinger. He's been on quite a run. He won last week and before that in Cup. Why?
And that was going to be my pick for Xfinity. And I have to tell you why he was going to be my pick. Ever since Xfinity has been the sponsor of the Xfinity series, the number 16 has won the July second Daytona race in odd number years. with Ryan Reed, and then Chastain.
Again, another useless stat that only Seth.
Yeah, I like that stat. I like that stat. But AJ's awesome at Daytona. Like, he lost it last time, but I mean, he had that thing won. So I'm gonna go with him. And for Cup, we're gonna see if me and Seth pre-show were like, I think it was Justin who said, "Oh, let's see if someone shakes up the playoffs." And both me and Seth's picks would tremendously upset the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Daniel Suarez.
Okay, that's not actually my pick.
Okay.
That is one of the two people I was thinking of, but that is not my pick.
Good. Okay. Now his Daytona results are terrible. In 8 starts, he's only finished 1. He's crashed out in 7 of his 8 starts. But I feel like he's a really solid plate racer. His best shot at winning a Cup race was 2017 at Talladega. He led laps in this summer race last year, and he impressed me. Him in Trackhouse, debuting in February in the 500. Didn't do well in the race because of the wreck, but in the duels, I felt like he was good. So I'm going to go with Suarez to completely shake things up.
Okay, so Justin, you pick next.
Oh, geez, I'm already next. All right. Well, I'm going to go with Allgaier. Or no, I'm going to go Justin Haley. I'm going to go Justin Haley with Xfinity because I don't know what it is, but colleague does well at the plate races. So I'm going to go in the same stable as Zach here. For Cup, I don't know if I want to do a safe pick or if I want to go with one of the guys who's going to try to spoil the playoffs.
Let's have some fun. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing. I think I'm going to keep that streak going, and I'm not going to try to go for the obvious guys just yet. And I'm going to see if there's going to be one last spoiler for the playoffs. And he's led a ton of laps here at like almost all the last set of restrictor plate races. He has not only led laps, but leading at the very end until a crash or a lane choice mistake cost him the win. And I think this time he's going to finally put it all together and sneak in. I'm going to go Matty D. I'm going to go Guido.
Okay, then. Well, my Cup pick still has not been taken, so yay. Now, in recent years at Daytona, Denny has basically been the master of Daytona. However, he's been the master as a driver. I think this time it'll be as an owner, and Bubba Wallace will win.
I thought you were going with Stenhouse, so you even surprised me.
Nah, Stenhouse, although he's good on the restrictor plates, he has a habit of getting caught up in wrecks too often.
Yes, so does my driver. Didn't stop me.
And in Xfinity, I'm going to go with, again, another spoiler, but somebody who's always around at the end of the races. He's led a ton of laps at Daytona and Talladega, just never been able to seal the deal. I'm going to go with Landon Castle.
Ooh,
Good one.
I like that pick. That is pretty good.
I'm not sure. Go ahead, Seth.
Oh, well, no, I'll let you finish.
I think I'm torn on my Xfinity pick. I'm not sure who I'm wanting to pick in that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there for my Cup. I'm going to stay the trend and go with an upsetter. And I'm going to pick. Yeah, y'all just want a chance to get it first.
No, I just want to be interesting. I just want to be. We know Rachel's going to pick Larson, and
Come on, if
Sarah's
Justin
gonna
Haley
pick
can win at
Lance.
Daytona.
Well, no, hey, no one's picked Casgralla yet.
Well, he may be on my short list for Xfinity.
Hey, he's running Cup.
Oh, is he running Cup? Well, he ain't on my short list for Cup. Sorry. No, he would be on my short list for Xfinity. But I'm going to go with Ryan J. Newman.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so great.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Ryan Newman for the win this weekend. I think obviously we know those cars are fast. He can get to victory lane, and he's going to be blocking and doing everything he can to get that redemption. So I'm gonna stick with Ryan Newman for that. Man, an Xfinity racer. Who should I pick? Let me get some help from the peanut gallery. Chris Knight, who should I pick for an Xfinity win?
Besides Allmendinger, Haley, and
Landon Castle.
I can't hear you.
Briscoe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right. Chase Briscoe is running the Xfinity race.
okay.
I'll go with Chase. I'll go with Chris Knight's pick of Chase Briscoe.
Although I will say,
Because
he
otherwise-
starts 37.
Otherwise, that doesn't matter at Daytona. Otherwise, it was going to be Noah Gragson.
So just so everybody knows, the last spot in the playoffs since Harvick and Hamlin are locked in is going to be between Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, Matt DiBenedetto, Chris Buescher, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Newman, Ryan Preece, Cole Custer, Corey LaJoie, and Anthony Alfredo, who is currently 30th in points. Alfredo has enough points on 31st, Josh Bilicki, where he cannot get to 31st. And Josh Bilicki is too far back. If he wins, he cannot get to 30th. So even if he were to magically win, there'd be no way he could get in the playoffs because he wouldn't be in the top 30 in points. But
Same with Quinn Hoff in 32nd.
right, Quinn Hoff in 32nd also. But I mean, I just read off names that these are all guys that have at some point or another in their career been there at the end, top 5, top 3, whatever it might be at Daytona. So this is going to get crazy.
And then let's just add that you have Kaz Gralla, who finished top 5 at Talladega, driving for Colleague, who just won the Indy Road Course, running the Cup race.
I'm making the call. Colleague next year going full time, especially with Allmendinger, and then if they do get a second car,
It's full time with Haley and
full-time
Allmendinger. And Allmendinger is going to be part time in a second full time car.
Oh, okay, got it. Then Haley, they're going to be a powerhouse. Just watch.
It just depends on how many times they get caught cheating.
And then
Isn't that true?
Take it. Getting 40 points and then having 25 taken away does not help the overall total. Just pointing that out.
And I'm also going to say you also have Landon Castle driving for Gaunt Brothers, which, although Gaunt Brothers has been hit and miss, they ran well with Ty Dillon earlier in the year in the duels and just missed out by one spot to make the Daytona 500. And Landon Castle is a solid plate racer. So stranger things have happened.
Also, did I say Eric Almirola when I was reading the names? I thought
No, you did not.
Okay, I was going to say I wanted to make sure I ran over him because I know he won at Loudon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was like me. I thought Keselowski hadn't won a race, but he had too. So, a couple of weeks ago. Well, I guess that's going to do it for us this week. What? Anything else? Anybody got any breaking news happening that we need to talk about real quick before we sign off?
Just who would have thought that it would have taken Penske this long to have one of their drivers get a second win?
It's the first time that Blaney has gotten 2 wins in a single season in Cup.
Yep.
Ever. Yeah, ever in the Cup.
Yep.
So more like half of his Cup wins have been like photo finishes.
Yeah.
All but one race, which all but one race has been less than a second. What was the one race he won by like 2 seconds?
Pocono.
Pocono. Yeah, all the others have been less than a second. So,
well,
and then
that's going to do it.
Two are back to
Okay.
Two are back to back at Talladega, 0.007 seconds, 7,000ths of a second.
Yeah, but that's Talladega, so that's expected.
Yeah, but that's Talladega.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
and that's going to do it. That's going to do it for us here on the Kicking Show, and you can stop inhaling the helium now. It's bad for your health. We'll see you guys next week. Be sure to like and share and follow and all that stuff. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/kicking the tires. And, we'll see y'all next week.